I love cryptids, but I don't see them all that often. Well, I meant in games. I don't mean like in real life. That would be terrifying. Sure, there are a few games here and there that are specifically about cryptids, but I want to like be playing Mario and see the Jersey Devil there. It's fun. So I decided to investigate and find cryptids sightings in games. Whether they're hidden as an Easter egg, maybe they're an enemy, or like an actual character. As I said before, no games that are all about cryptids. One last thing before I start, I will not be talking about cryptids made for the game that they are in. I'll only be talking about cryptids made for the real world, IRL. I'm not sure how to say this, I hope that makes sense. Anyways, I hope you all enjoy the video and happy Halloween. If you are watching in Halloween, I mean. Shout out if you're watching in March. Enjoy. So first, I want to get the series that commonly include cryptids out of the way. The first that come to mind are Shin Megami Tensei and Fallout. I have been wanting to find a reason to talk about the SMT series on this channel, fucking finally. So, Shin Megami Tensei is a long-running JRPG series in which you must recruit and fight alongside demons. These demons come from many places, including religion, mythology, folklore, urban legends, pop culture, pretty much anywhere. So, as you may have guessed, it does have some cryptids. Mothman is a pretty famous cryptid from West Virginia, and Mothman in these games is iconic. Everybody's seen this guy. They have such a cute and lovable design here. I really love them. But outside of Mothman, there aren't many more. Cryptids mostly only exist back in the older games. They were a lot more experimental with demons back in these ones, I think. They even famously have these cut Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck demons that were supposed to appear in an area parodying Disneyland. Anyways, these cryptids include Sasquatch and Wendigo. Not a huge fan of some of Wendigo's, he has a few. They're one of my favorite cryptids though, so I hope they get a redesign and come back in future games. Wendigos are said to possess humans and make them want to cannibalize and kill people, and are usually depicted like this. So in Shin Megami Tensei, demons have races. These races don't determine that much outside of their alignment, but in certain older games there's a race titled UMA, or UMA, an abbreviation for Unidentified Mysterious Animal, which is, you know, another way to say cryptid. There aren't many demons in this race, but it does include Chupacabra. Chupacabra, when translated from Spanish, literally means goat sucker. They were given this name because they suck the blood of animals, like goats. But my favorite demon in the UMA race isn't even a cryptid. It's this fucking dude, Oliver. Look at this guy. So this isn't a cryptid like most of the UMA race? UMA? They were based on a real-life monkey also named Oliver. People thought they were a human-monkey hybrid because of their face, but they were just a normal chimpanzee. I love this. Okay, I need to get back to talking about actual cryptids again, so let's move on to Fallout. I love the Fallout series, but I admit I'm not a huge fan of some of their cryptid designs. But these changes made to the cryptids are essential to fit the game's art style and world. Most of them are mutated from radiation, and that shows with them like glowing green or other things like that. Some of these cryptids in these games include the Loch Ness Monster, the Grafton Monster, Chupacabra, Wendigo, Jackalope being a rabbit with antlers, Skinwalker, the Skinwalker being a witch that can turn into or possess animals, and the Flatwoods Monster, among some other ones, and some made just for these games. As mentioned, I am not a huge fan of some of these designs. Some are cool and some are disappointing. I'm most disappointed with the Flatwoods Monster and the Wendigo design, as they are my favorite cryptids and they just look ugly here. The series is probably most known for Mothman, just like SMT. Mothman was so heavily advertised in Fallout 76 marketing, and they look fine here. Looks like a Mothman. Did good. God, the Flatwoods Monster looks so fucking ugly. I can't get over this. So, the Flatwoods Monster is a creature believed to be spotted in the town of Flatwoods in West Virginia after a bright light crossed the sky. And more importantly, they appeared in one of my favorite scenes in one of my favorite games ever. So, Majora's Mask is a pretty weird game with a lot of weird stuff going on it. You got a hand in a toilet, you gotta give paper. This guy, this dancing man that gives you this mask, and the moon is falling and everyone is dealing with the fact that they will all die within the next few days. Oh yeah, the Flatwoods Monster is here too. There's this ranch in the game called Romani Ranch. This ranch is run by two sisters, the younger being Romani and the older Cremia. But there's one problem with this ranch. Every year, these aliens come and try to abduct the cows from Romani Ranch, and you must help defend it. The aliens' design is based off of the Flatwoods Monster, but they aren't called that here. They are just referred to as they, and are also called ghosts. And they actually look good here. They look fun, unlike the ugly ass Fallout design. So if you help defend the ranch, Romani thanks you and gives you a bottle and milk. She also asks you to not tell her older sister Cremia about what happened, and asks if you will stay and help her next year. But if you fail, it takes a really sad turn. The aliens abduct her, and when you come back the next day, she is completely changed. What really got to me was seeing how Cremia was affected by seeing Romani like this. It makes you feel terrible for not helping, or for failing the mission. Before I move on, I'd like to say, Majora's Mask is the best Zelda game, and just one of the best games ever made in general. Play it. Please. There's also that famous sighting of the Flatwoods monster in Hot Shelf. There's also that famous sighting of the Flatwoods monster in Hot Shelf Golf. There's also that famous sighting of the Flatwoods monster in Hot Shelf Golf 4. I love ones like this in games you wouldn't expect it in. Just there is a little Easter egg. I hope to find more like this. The Loch Ness Monster, Sasquatch, and Yeti, those last two being pretty much the same, just one of them is white, do appear in a lot of games, either as an Easter egg or an enemy encounter, but I don't find these all that interesting, mostly because I've seen them so much and I don't find their design to be all that interesting. But I've noticed that they appear in a lot of older JRPGs, which is pretty understandable. They need to make a lot of monsters for these games with how most of them use random encounters for fights and are usually pretty long, so there will be a lot of fights. Anyway, speaking of JRPGs, Pokemon has some designs based off of cryptids. You all like Pokemon, right? So they also have a Yeti design with Obama Snow. Aboma Snow. Aboma Snow. And a Loch Ness Monster design with Lapros. But some more interesting ones are Zapdos being based off of Thunderbird. Thunderbird is a Native American legend believed to be a god, and it had a wingspan of 20 feet. There have been many reports of sighting of the Thunderbird, even one person claiming to be attacked by one. They claim that the bird grabbed them and carried them at least 30 yards. Pokemon also has Elgium and Beheeyem, which are based off of gray aliens. I don't think I need to explain gray aliens. I love gray aliens, they're just so silly. They appear in a lot of games, most famously under the ice at the beginning of GTA 5, and I suppose you can count the game's many UFO Easter eggs too. And they also appear in what is probably my favorite appearances of cryptids in games, the multiple secret alien endings in the Silent Hill series. Almost every Silent Hill game has one of these joke endings, and I love them. The contrast from the rest of the content in these games and this is great. I won't go too much in detail since I feel like some people might not want to get spoiled because even though they are joke endings, there's still an ending. But if you are playing these games, check them out. As I was writing this, they announced a Silent Hill 2 remake and finally a full new game. I can't wait to see 2's alien ending fully remade with next-gen technology, and I hope they carry on this great tradition in Silent Hill Townfall. Well, that's all I really have. I do want to make a part 2 once I find out more about cryptid appearances in games because this was admittedly pretty hard to research for me. This was my first video like this. So comment about some that you know about or some you experienced on your own. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you are watching on Halloween, I will be doing a big Halloween stream with some friends today, playing some games and stuff. It'll be on this channel that you're watching right now. Come on by if you're interested. Happy Halloween.